Today we're talking about Kit Plugin's Core EQ. So if you guys want to know what this plugin's all about, and if you want to hear it compared to, I don't know, we'll say an SSL E Series EQ, stick around after this introduction.
Let them softly.
Welcome everybody, I'm Dan Spencer, and I am the Audio Sorcerer. So this is the channel where I teach you how to perfect your audio recording, mixing, and mastering skills. So before we get to the video, make sure you guys smash that like button. Please subscribe and hit that notification bell to know when I have new videos coming out. So without further ado, today we're talking about Kit Plugin's Core EQ. So this is the second plugin in their Core series. And this particular EQ is not modeled after any hardware EQ. It is customly made by Kit Plugins. And in this video, what we're going to do is we're going to compare it to a SSL E Series EQ, because if you are new to audio engineering and production, you may think that EQs are all the same. Well, in this video, you're going to learn that they are not at all the same, because these two EQs sound completely different. And after that, we're going to listen to a little bit of this song called Identity here, which I actually mixed today with this EQ. So I pretty much just use this EQ, and then I use a little bit of the Slate VMR and the Slate Virtual Tape stuff, and a couple other plugins, but it's mostly EQ-wise just based around the Kit Core EQ here. And we'll do a before and after, of course, with it bypassed and then brought in. And I think I gain stage it good enough where we'll have a nice even level so you can, get a good idea what it sounds like. So hopefully between those two scenarios, you'll have a good idea of whether or not you want to add this plugin to your collection or not. So I do want to give one disclaimer here. I was not able to successfully install this plugin to work with Pro Tools using it on Windows 11 on my PC. Now, I did reach out to Kit Plugins about this, and they did say that it is not fully supported on Windows 11, and there could be a potential bug related to that. So if you're running Pro Tools on Windows 11, you may want to wait to get this plugin until they come out with a further update. And if you guys are watching this video, I'm assuming you guys like Kit Plugins, so I have a link popping up in the top right corner to my review/tutorial on their Core Compressor plugin, so check that out after this video. And as always, I do have a link in the description below where you can go purchase this Core EQ plugin if you end up liking it. So with that being said, let's continue further into this topic, and let's look at the Core EQ versus the SSL E Series EQ. All right, so let's first actually discuss the Core EQ very quickly here. So it is 4 bands of EQ, and then you also have a high pass and low pass filter. The top and bottom bands are shelves or bells, up to you if you want to set it that way with these buttons here. Now, the biggest beef I have with this particular EQ is that you have to engage the high pass and low pass filters with these on-off switches here, which I actually forgot to do initially, because sometimes I set a high pass filter at such a low level that's almost not noticeable. But we like to maybe just do that for safety reasons to get some of that low end rumble off that maybe isn't all that noticeable. So keep that in mind. You have to engage this, and it will light up in white, letting you know that it is on. Okay. There are no presets in here as of now, so they might add some in the future. You have a output gain here, and then you have an option to bypass the EQ with this knob here. Okay, so very simple EQ. So we're going to listen to this on a guitar and kick drum compared to the SSL E Series. So we're going to start with guitar here, and we're going to check out these top 2 bands here, because these bands are the most important for overdrive guitars in my mind. And I typically use an SSL EQ for this, so what better to compare it to? All right, so let's give it a listen, and I'm going to dial it in with this EQ first. like that there. So typically I like to use a 5K shelf and do my boost there on the top end. And then I like to do 2.5 area and do a boost there. And that gets me my guitar tone. So we might be a little bit bright here, but I think we have a lot of edge here, and I'm really digging that. Okay, so let's move on to dialing in the SSL EV2, and you're going to hear how different these bands sound. All right, so let's give it a listen. Okay, so that is my SSL EQ there, very quick and simple. So now let's do a comparison listen. We'll start with the core EQ, and then we'll go to the SSL EQ. All right, so let's give it a listen. All right, so as you guys can hear, those are very, very different sounding EQs on those top two bands. So let's actually move to the kick drum now so you can hear the bottom band. All right, so as you guys can hear, the low end band is very different. The core EQ is definitely more rounder. I don't usually give a lot of opinions in my videos because I like you guys to listen and come up with your own, but I will say that the core EQ definitely has a much nicer low end band than the SSL. I actually don't typically like the SSL's low end band. I never have. So I guess I will give you a piece of information that I never really told you guys before. So that's something new for you today. Okay. So let's actually do a listen now. We'll start with the core EQ first, and then we will listen to the SSL EV2. All right. So let's give it a listen. All right, so there you have it. There's our comparison between the kick there. I think it's just a much nicer, rounder sound with the core EQ there. It reminds me more of the low end of a Pultec EQ. Okay, so I definitely like that a lot better. Typically, when I EQ my kick drum on the low end, I have to add another EQ on top of the SSL because the low end band never gets me where I want to be. All right. So now you have a good idea of the differences between an SSL E Series EQ and a core EQ by Kit Plugins. So now let's actually listen to this mix I did here, bypassed, and then of course brought in with the core EQ so you can hear what it sounds like. All right, so let's give it a listen. Alright, so there you have it. That is what the Kit Plugins Core EQ can do for your mix, of course, if you EQ it right. Alright, so that was my review on the Kit Plugins Core EQ. And as you guys can hear, it sounds completely different than an SSL EQ. And I gotta say, it sounds amazing. So, as you guys know, I'm a YouTuber that doesn't go real technical into plugins like some of the other YouTubers out there. But I will say that when they review this plugin and they look at it, I'm telling you that they're going to notice some interesting things regarding the saturation and harmonics that appear when you adjust bands in this EQ. So whatever Kit Plugins did behind the scenes in this particular EQ, thumbs up, because it sounds fantastic. And I gotta say that, I really noticed it when we were adjusting the guitar in this video. It just sounded amazing. I actually thought it sounded better than the SSL, which is a lot coming from me because, as you guys know, I'm a huge SSL guy. So yeah, Kit Plugins, thumbs up for this Core EQ. Amazing plugin, all right? So if you guys end up liking this video, give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe because I'm making this content for you, and hit that notification bell to know when I have new videos coming out. And if you guys enjoyed this video, definitely check out my review on the Kit Plugins BB-N105 channel strip. And with that being said, until the next video, I will see you guys later, and peace out.